She waited every Friday at the same platform, even when the trains stopped coming. For 20 years, rain or shine, Eleanor was a fixture at Platform 3, a silent statue against the bustling backdrop of the city station. The old-timers knew her story, or at least they thought they did. They'd whisper to newcomers about the girl with the hopeful eyes, the one waiting for a ghost. It began in the summer of '78. Eleanor was a whirlwind of youth, with a laugh that could rival the loudest train whistle. He was Tomas, a traveling musician with a gentle smile and a guitar case covered in stickers from City Scene. They met right here, on this very platform. He was on his way to another gig, and she was seeing her sister off. Their eyes met over a crowd of goodbyes, and in that instant, the world seemed to shrink to just the two of them. He missed his train that day. And the next, for a week, Platform 3 became their world. They shared dreams on the cold metal benches, their hands brushing, their futures intertwining with the tracks that stretched out before them. He played her songs that no one else had heard, melodies that promised forever. He told her he was tired of running, that he'd finally found a place to call home, right there with her. He promised he'd come back. One last tour, he'd said, one last journey, and then he was hers for good. He wrote to her every day. His letters were filled with the grit of the road and the sweetness of his love for her. He described the cities, the crowds, the lonely hotel rooms, but every letter ended the same way. I am counting the days until I am back on Platform 3, back with you. The last letter she received was from a small coastal town. It spoke of a final show and a Friday train that would bring him home. Meet me at our spot, he wrote. I'll be on the 5:15. Don't be late. That Friday, Eleanor was there, her heart a drum against her ribs. The 5:15 was due, the announcement board blinking with its arrival time. She smoothed her dress. A floral print, he'd said, made her look like summer. But the 5:15 was late. An hour passed. 10:02. K:2. An announcement crackled over the speakers, a jumble of words about a derailment, a tragic accident on the coastal line. The 5:15 from Port Blossom wasn't just late, it was never arriving. The station became a blur of frantic officials, crying families, and the cold, hard finality of news reports. Eleanor stood frozen, the crumpled letter in her hand, the only thing holding her upright. They told her his name was on the passenger list. They offered condolences, gentle hands on her shoulder, but she couldn't hear them. All she could hear was the echo of his promise. Meet me at our spot. So she did. The next Friday, she returned, and the Friday after that. The world moved on. The station was modernized, the old steam engines replaced by sleek electric trains. Fashions changed, faces grew older, but Eleanor remained. She'd arrive just before 5, stand in the exact same spot, and watch the trains roll in and out, until the last one departed for the night. She never spoke to anyone, her gaze fixed on the point where the tracks disappeared into the horizon. People started to talk. They called her the ghost of Platform 3, a sad, romantic legend. Young couples would point her out, their voices hushed. The station staff grew to accept her, leaving her be, a quiet, mournful part of their weekly routine. They didn't know the whole story. They didn't know about the letters she still wrote. Every Thursday night, Eleanor would sit at her small wooden desk and write to Thomas. She'd tell him about her week, about the changing seasons, about the new coffee shop that opened across the street. She told him she was still waiting, that she knew he was just delayed, that he would keep his promise. She never mailed the letters. They were kept in a large wooden chest, tied with ribbons. Hundreds of conversations with a memory. Years melted into decades. Her hair, once the color of honey, was now streaked with silver. The hopeful light in her eyes had softened into a gentle, unyielding patience. One Friday, a young journalist, new to the city and intrigued by the local legend, decided to approach her. He had his camera, his notepad, ready to capture the tragic story. He found her in her usual spot, a solitary figure in a faded coat. He approached cautiously. "Excuse me," he started. "Are you Eleanor?" She turned, her eyes clear and calm, and simply nodded. He asked her why. Why, after all this time, did she still wait? He expected a tale of heartbreak, of a love frozen in time. But her answer surprised him. "I'm not waiting for him to get off a train," she said, her voice soft but steady. "I know he's not coming back that way." She looked out at the tracks. He promised he would come back. And he did. "He's here." She smiled, a small, private smile. "He's in the sound of the train whistle. He's in the songs the buskers play by the entrance. He's in the hello and goodbye of every person who passes through here. This place, our place, is filled with him." The journalist was stunned. This wasn't a story of a woman trapped by grief. It was a story of a woman who had redefined it. She hadn't been waiting for a ghost to appear. She had been living with his spirit. Her weekly vigil wasn't a mournful duty, but a celebration. It was her way of keeping their love alive, not as a memory of what was lost, but as a presence that was all around her. She explained that after the initial shock, she realized that to stop coming would be to let their story end with the crash. By returning, she was choosing to continue it. Platform 3 wasn't a place of tragedy for her. It was a cathedral of their love, a place where their short time together was made eternal. Her waiting wasn't passive. It was an active, powerful choice to love every single Friday. The journalist put away his notepad. He understood the story was too profound for a simple news column. It was a lesson in love, loss, and the incredible strength of the human heart. He spent the rest of the evening just sitting with her, not as a journalist, but as a person, listening to the music of the station and watching the world go by. The next Friday, Eleanor wasn't at Platform 3. The station staff buzzed with concern. She was never absent. The young journalist, hearing the news, felt a pang of worry. He went to the address he'd found for her in the city records. At her small apartment, the door was answered by a young woman who looked just like the old photos of Eleanor. It was her niece. She explained that Eleanor had passed away, peacefully in her sleep. The niece led him inside. On the desk was an open letter, Eleanor's final one, dated the day before.